My dear sweet child of God, there comes a day every now and again when the veil between heaven and earth thins. A day not marked by the grand sweep of history, but by the soft murmur of purpose. July 10 is one such day, a day where the divine leans down low and whispers into the soul of mankind, "Speak to me. I am listening. Oh, I have walked through July days heavy with sorrow, and I have danced through July nights blooming with stars. I have heard the sound of my own heart breaking, and I have felt the gentle mending of unseen hands. And so I tell you, not with arrogance but with reverence, that prayer, sincere and unshackled, is the language of survival. Now, baby, don't just pray out of habit, nor out of fear. Pray because your spirit demands to be heard. Pray because God has been waiting for your voice like the earth waits for rain. And on this sacred day, July 10, I offer you 3 prayers, 3 keys, 3 songs for the soul. Let these prayers rise from your belly like thunder, soft and sacred. Let them take flight like a bird newly freed from its cage. There are days, my darling, that pass by quiet and unbothered, slipping through our fingers like water. And then there are days touched by divinity. Days when the heavens stretch wide and the sacred leans in close, listening for your voice, your cry, your praise. July 10 is not just another day on the calendar. No, baby, it is a holy invitation. A moment carved out from the ordinary to carry the extraordinary weight of possibility. It's as if the Almighty circled it in gold ink and whispered, "On this day, I will meet you if you dare to speak." It is no accident, no random flicker of time. July 10 stands like a doorway between all that has burdened you and all that seeks to bless you. A bridge between what has been and what could yet be. You don't need to be a preacher or prophet to feel it. If your spirit has even the slightest opening, you will know, deep in your belly, you will feel the trembling hush of something sacred drawing near. Now, let me tell you a truth passed down not just in scriptures, but in lived experience. God does not wait on perfect people. He waits on honest ones. He waits for the mother weeping behind closed doors, the father trying to be strong while drowning in doubt, the child whose knees are scraped from falling too many times. He waits for you, just as you are, with your chipped hallelujah and your worn-out prayers. July 10 is not for the flawless, it is for the faithful. On this day, the atmosphere is ripe. Oh, I can feel it in my bones like the change of weather. The spirit stirs, and angels pace like sentinels waiting to deliver what's been delayed. This is not a day to be casual with your prayers. This is the day to stand up straight, even if your knees shake. To look to the hills, even if your tears blur your vision. To lift your voice, not with performance, but with power. I know life has tried to hush you. I know the disappointments have tried to break your back. But child, even the sun must rise after nightfall. Even the tree must reach after being buried. You have a right to speak to your Maker. And July 10 is the day to do it boldly. There is something about divine timing that cannot be rushed, and yet cannot be missed. It's like the sweet ripening of a fruit on the vine. If you eat it too soon, it bites back. But if you pluck it when it's ready, oh, it melts in your mouth with the taste of grace. July 10 is that ripened fruit, hanging low for the one who dares to reach for it. Do not waste this moment wrapped in routine. Do not rush through it like it's just another Wednesday. No, baby, sit with it. Light a candle. Let the quiet in. Make room in your spirit, because heaven is about to visit. And when it comes, it won't be loud like thunder, but it will be mighty. It might just come in a whisper, in the silence between your sobs, in the stillness after you say Amen. So rise on that morning not with dread, but with deep anticipation. Prepare your heart like a table for the honored guest. Do not worry about how to phrase your prayers. Just make them real. Do not fret over how long they last. Just make them true. You see, God is not counting your words. He's weighing your heart. And let me say this too, July 10 is not just for asking. It is for releasing. It is for cleansing. It is for remembering. Look back only to see how far He's brought you. Remember the nights you thought you wouldn't make it. Remember the prayers you forgot you prayed and how they bloomed in silence. Remember how grace chased you when you weren't even looking. Yes, child, remember and be bold. Let this be the day you stop apologizing for needing help. Let this be the day you ask for the impossible, knowing that with God, impossible is just another name for what He does every day. Let this be the day you remove the limits you've placed on your own life. Let this be the day you expect more. More peace than you've ever had. More strength than you've ever known. More joy than you thought you deserved. Yes, you darling, you deserve joy, not because you earned it, but because God gives it freely to the willing. And when you pray on July 10, remember that prayer is not a performance, it's a presence. God doesn't need theatrics. He needs truth. Your trembling voice is enough. Your tear-streaked face is beautiful in His sight. Don't hold back. Speak what's in your soul and let the wind of heaven carry it up like incense. Yes, July 10 is a day that can change your life, but only if you let it. Only if you show up, not just with your lips, but with your whole heart. Don't just recite, connect. Don't just speak, commune. Invite the Holy Spirit in like an honored guest, and you will see how a simple day can become a sacred turning point. Now, I don't say this as one who's never known pain. I say this as one who has buried dreams and still dared to plant seeds, as one who has cried herself into sleep and still awoke to pray. I say this as one who has watched God take a whisper of faith and turn it into a shout of deliverance. So, my sweet child, prepare for July 10 like it's the dawn of a new era. Because it is. Dress your soul in expectation. Anoint your tongue with gratitude. Stand still and let the Holy wash over you like rain. This is your moment. This is your day. Say the prayers. Watch heaven move. And when it's done, don't be surprised when you feel lighter, stronger, clearer. Because God was listening, and the earth shifted, and July 10 became your altar. You are loved, you are heard, and you are never ever alone. There comes a time in every woman and every man's life when the soul grows weary from wandering. A time when questions sit heavy on the chest, and the road ahead is veiled in mist. You take a step forward, then pause, unsure if the path you're on leads to the mountain or the valley. And in those moments, quiet, aching moments, you don't need another opinion. You don't need another sign on the highway or the shout of the world around you. You need direction. Not just any direction, but divine direction. Guidance straight from the throne of grace. Now let me tell you something. With all the certainty my years have given me, God never intended for His children to walk blindly. The Lord is not in the business of leading His beloved into confusion. No, child, He is a God of order, a God of purpose. And when you cry out from the depths of your being, Lord, show me the way, He hears you. He listens like a loving father kneeling beside his child, ready to point to the road paved in peace. On July 10, when you kneel in the hush of morning or the stillness of night, let your second prayer be this, a prayer of direction. Not for riches, not for recognition, but for clarity. For a light upon your path and a voice behind you saying, "This is the way, walk in it." Too often we stumble, not because we are weak, but because we are walking in the dark. Not because we are unworthy, but because we've been led by noise instead of discernment. We've followed what was popular instead of what was purposeful. But my dear, there's a whisper in your spirit that knows the truth. And July 10 is the day to listen to that whisper until it becomes a song. You see, God doesn't always speak in thunder. Sometimes He speaks in nudges, in that still, small voice that tickles your intuition. That quiet conviction that says, "Turn left." That flutter in your chest when you're about to step into something that looks good but ain't God. He speaks in doors that won't open, and in peace that surpasses all understanding. Direction, beloved, is not always loud. It's faithful. So when you say this prayer, say it with honesty. Say it with empty hands and a willing heart. Don't come to God with your mind already made up. Come with humility. Come as a student sitting at the feet of the Master, saying, Lord, I don't want to lean on my understanding anymore. I've done it my way, and I've wound up lost. Show me which way to go. Make the crooked places straight. Shut the doors that will harm me, and open the ones that bring me closer to you. Speak, Lord, for your child is listening. Now, don't you be discouraged if the answer doesn't come wrapped in fireworks. Sometimes the direction comes in a word from a stranger. Sometimes it comes in a sudden peace about a decision. Sometimes it comes in the quiet conviction to wait when all you want to do is move. Waiting, baby, is also a direction. Sitting still when your flesh wants to run. That's obedience too. I've seen people run ahead of God and find themselves in places they were never meant to be. But I've also seen those who waited. Waited when it didn't make sense. Waited when the world called them foolish. And I've seen the Lord reward that waiting with clarity so pure. It shined like the noonday sun. They were led, not by their fear, but by their faith. And faith, sweet child, is a compass that never lies. When you ask God for direction, you must also ask for discernment, because not every good opportunity is a God opportunity. The enemy, sly and silent, will dress up destruction in glitter and lace. He'll make a dead-end street look like a red carpet. But when your spirit is anchored, when your eyes are on the shepherd, no wolf in sheep's clothing can fool you. Discernment is the oil that keeps your lamp burning in the dark. And let me tell you this, too, sometimes divine direction means walking away. Walking away from people you love, but who no longer feed your spirit. Walking away from jobs that pay well, but drain your soul. Walking away from dreams that were beautiful once, but no longer breathe life into your bones. Baby, direction is not just about where to go. It's about what to leave behind. You were not born to stay stuck. You were not created to wander in circles. You were fashioned with purpose, knit together with promise. And the same God who formed you in the secret place will not abandon you in the confusing place. He will lead you with grace. He will direct you with love. So lift up your eyes, darling. Lift them above the chaos, above the distractions, above your doubt. Look to the hills, for your help comes from the Lord. And when He speaks, and He will speak, you'll know. You'll feel the peace. You'll feel the release. You'll feel the fire of, yes, this is it burning in your belly. That is the sacred voice of direction. And when you walk in that direction, don't tiptoe. Don't shuffle your feet like you're unsure. Walk boldly. Walk like a daughter, like a son of the Most High. Because when God orders your steps, every step becomes sacred ground. Every mile becomes a miracle. Every delay becomes divine. So on July 10th, as the earth spins beneath your feet and the heavens open their ears, ask for it. Direction. Ask with a trembling heart. Ask with expectant eyes. And then trust, truly trust, that the one who made the stars also knows the way for you. He won't leave you wandering. He won't let you fall. And even if the road is rocky, it will still be right, because it's the path He chose, and it leads to promise. It leads to peace. It leads you home. There comes a moment when the soul must rise, when the weariness of waiting and the wounds of walking this earth demand not just rest, but resurrection. And on that blessed July 10, when you've released your burdens and sought direction, there is yet one more sacred step to take. You must pray for power, real power. Not the kind that screams or controls, but the kind that steadies the trembling hand, the kind that stands tall in a storm, the kind that whispers, "You are enough," even when the world tells you otherwise. Oh, child, let me tell you, There is a power that flows not from prestige or position, but from the presence of the living God within you. That power is not loud like war, but strong like peace. It doesn't boast or beg. It simply is. And once you taste it, once it settles in your bones, you'll never again confuse noise for authority. You see, this world will try to drain you. It will siphon your joy with disappointment. It will pull at your strength with unkindness. It will wear you thin with responsibilities and leave you with only a whisper of who you used to be. But that's when you pray, not just for deliverance or direction. No, that's when you pray to be filled. Filled like a cup running over. Filled like a lung gasping fresh air. Filled like a heart finally remembering it was made to beat with holy rhythm. On July 10, as the sun rises in its splendor and the earth quietly spins in her sacred rhythm, let your third prayer rise with it. God, fill me today. Fill me with your spirit, not just to survive, but to soar. Fill my tongue with wisdom, my feet with purpose, my mind with calm, and my hands with grace. Let me walk in power that cannot be bought, borrowed, or broken. Let those words be a battle cry and a balm, because too many of us have lived life from an empty place. Too many have smiled when they were starving for encouragement. Too many have poured out without ever being poured into. But baby, you cannot draw water from a dry well. You cannot give light if your lamp has gone cold. That's why this prayer matters. This is the prayer that turns the tide. This is the prayer that shifts the atmosphere. Not around you, but within you. Power, real power, starts in the heart. It is the strength to be kind when bitterness tempts you, the courage to speak truth when silence feels safer, the ability to love those who've never shown you any. That's power, honey. Not just muscles and might, but mercy in motion. And don't you forget, this power is your birthright. It was woven into your soul before the stars were flung into the sky. It comes from the same spirit that raised Jesus from the grave. That power, yes, that holy fire, lives in you. But it must be stirred. It must be fed. It must be asked for. On July 10, open your mouth and ask. Not because you're weak, but because you are wise enough to know your strength has limits. Ask because you're not trying to control the world. You're just trying to stay faithful in it. Ask not from a place of pride, but from a place of holy desperation. The kind that says, Lord, if you don't strengthen me, I'll fall. But if you do, I can face anything. And when you ask for power, don't just ask for power to get through the day. Ask for power to transform the day, to walk into a room and shift the energy because peace followed you in, to lift your head even when your heart is heavy, to declare over yourself, I may be pressed, but I am not crushed. I may be struck down, but I am not destroyed. Let July 10 be the day you stop shrinking to fit places you've outgrown. Let it be the day you stop dimming your light because others find it too bright. Let it be the day you remember. Not everyone has to understand your power for it to be real. God gave it to you, and that's enough. So stand up, daughter of Zion. Straighten your back, son of promise. The world has had its say, but now it's your time to speak. Speak with the boldness of someone who knows God is on their side. Move with the assurance of one who has been filled not with fear, but with fire. Let every step you take be powered by purpose. Let every word you speak be soaked in truth. Let every act of kindness you offer be a sermon unto itself. And when people ask how you're standing, when they marvel at your peace, when they wonder where your strength comes from, look them in the eye and say, it is not I, but the power of God within me. And that power, oh, it will not run dry. It will bubble up in you like a river. It will rise in you like dawn. It will cover you like armor, not to fight the world, but to remain unshaken in the face of it. You were never meant to live in fear. You were not created to stay small. You were not called to survive. You were chosen to thrive. and the power you seek is already reaching for you. All you have to do is open the door. So on July 10, let this third prayer be your anthem, your declaration, your invitation. Ask for power, child, and then walk in it, own it, live it. You are a vessel of glory. You are a temple of strength. You are the hands and feet of a mighty God. And baby, when God fills you, there is nothing you cannot face. There is a moment deep and sacred, when the world quiets its noise and the heart is left alone to beat in rhythm with eternity. It does not always come in the morning, nor only in the hush of night. It can come in the middle of your doing, while washing dishes or walking alone, while rocking a crying child or folding the same shirt for the 100th time. And in that moment, you know something is different. You know something has shifted. Because the prayers have been prayed, the tears have been cried, and you, sweet child, have been heard. You may not feel the wind blow. The lights may not flicker. No angels may burst forth singing your name. But the heavens moved. The heavens moved because you spoke. You dared to come as you were. You dared to speak, to seek, to open your soul like a window and let God step through. Now this is the part where many grow weary. After the prayer, after the shout, after the trembling silence, we wait. And oh, what a hard thing it is for a soul to wait, because we are taught to act, to fix, to move, but not always to trust. Yet trust, my beloved, is the fourth piece in this holy chain. Trust is the bridge between your prayer and your promise. It is the space between, Lord, I need you, and here is my answer, child. You must know this with your whole being after you pray. You don't walk away empty-handed. Even if your hands look the same, even if your eyes still sting, you walk away carrying something invisible but mighty. You walk away carrying God's attention. Oh yes. The Creator of all things paused to hear you. You, with your broken grammar and your fragile heart. You with the wounds and the worries and the whispered dreams. The Almighty bent down low and listened. And now, you must believe He will answer. Let July 10 be the day you not only speak, but expect. Let it be the day your faith puts on shoes and walks. Let it be the day you carry your head high, not because your circumstances changed, but because you know they will. We are so used to disappointment that sometimes we brace for it. We flinch before the strike. But not today, child. Not on this day. Today you will believe again. You will believe that your words were not in vain, that your God is not distant, that the soil has been watered and the seed will rise. You see, trusting after prayer is not passive. No, baby, it is a fierce act of defiance against despair. It is waking up each day and saying, though I don't see it yet, I believe it's coming. It is living as if the answer is already on the way. Because it is. There is a current moving beneath the surface. There are doors being carved in walls you've been staring at for years. There are people you haven't met yet whose names are already being whispered in rooms you haven't entered. There are blessings with your name on them, being prepared with the precision of heaven. But trust is what brings them into your hands. And let me tell you, trusting God is not always neat. It is not always quiet. Sometimes trust is shouting through the tears, I know you're good, Lord, even though it hurts. Sometimes it's dragging your body out of bed and still showing up. Sometimes it's choosing joy when bitterness feels easier. Trust is not soft. It is steel wrapped in silence. It is strength covered in surrender. And surrender, darling, is not giving up. It's giving in to the truth that you are not alone in this. That God is not just for you in the grand scheme of eternity. He is for you right now, in this hour, in this struggle, in this place that feels like a desert, even here, especially here. I've walked through places where no map could guide me. I've stood at the edge of my own sanity and dared to believe God was still good. And He was. Oh, He was. He came through in ways I didn't expect, through people I didn't know. with a grace I didn't earn. That's how God moves. Not always how we want, but always how we need. So after the prayer, don't panic. Don't rush to fix it yourself. Don't pluck the seed before it has time to bloom. Trust that something holy is happening in the unseen. If the enemy cannot stop your prayer, he will try to poison your trust. He'll whisper, "Nothing's changing." He'll point to the clock, the calendar, the silence. But remember this, beloved, silence is not absence. Delay is not denial. And what God begins in prayer, he completes in power. Lift your chin, straighten your back. Walk like one who knows she's been heard. Talk like one who knows heaven is moving. Think like one who knows every no is only a detour to a bigger yes. Trust is the language of the soul that knows, not wonders, not wishes, but knows that God is faithful. So let July 10 be your line in the sand. The day you stopped doubting and started declaring. The day you walked not by what you saw, but by what you knew. Let it be the day that even in the stillness you danced. Even in the waiting you praised. Even in the shadows you sang. Because the God who heard your prayer is the same God who parts seas, who moves mountains, who raises what was dead. And baby, he's moving even now. You don't have to feel it to believe it. You don't have to see it to receive it. You only have to trust. And that, my sweet child, is the greatest power of all. There is a stillness that follows true prayer, not empty silence but a sacred hush, a knowing, a deep exhale of the soul. It is the quiet after the storm, the peace that sits like a crown upon your brow when you've poured it all out and dared to believe that God caught every single word, every tear, every unspoken plea. And after you've released, after you've asked for direction, after you've been filled with divine power and rooted your feet in trust, then, child, you watch. Yes, you watch. Not like someone doubting in the dark, pacing and biting their nails in fear. No, you watch like a servant at the window, expecting the master's return. You watch like a woman on her porch waiting for her prodigal child to come home. You watch with open hands and lifted eyes, because you know, God is about to do something. July 10 is not the end of your prayer. It's the beginning of your breakthrough. It's the day you lit the flame. But fires must be tended, child. Miracles must be watched for, and not just with your eyes, but with your spirit. It's not always about seeing with your sight. It's about perceiving with your soul. The moment you prayed, heaven began moving. Maybe not how you imagined. Maybe not how you mapped it out. But rest assured, the King of Glory heard you. And when he moves, he doesn't just answer your words. He answers your heart. So, baby, don't you get weary in the waiting. Don't you shrink back when you don't see results by noon or change by midnight. You prayed a heaven-sized prayer. That means you're going to have to walk by faith, not by what your eyes can measure. You ask the God of all creation to shift something in your life, and he will. But he will do it in his timing, not on your timetable. Watch for the small things, the subtle things. Sometimes his answer starts in whispers. A phone call, a stranger's kindness, a sudden peace about a decision you once feared. Don't overlook them. Don't dismiss them. God often speaks soft before he speaks loud. I've lived long enough to know that divine movement rarely comes all at once. It is layered, like the petals of a rose opening to the sun. You prayed, and now you watch it bloom. Slowly, yes. Sometimes painfully slow, but beautifully always. Keep your eyes open, not just your physical eyes, but your spiritual ones. Watch the road ahead with faith, and watch the road behind with gratitude. Look back, child. Yes, look back, but not to mourn. Look back to see how far you've come. You've survived things that should have broken you. You've endured nights that lasted longer than they had a right to. And yet, here you are, still standing, still seeking, still believing. That alone is a miracle. Now look around you. Look at your life, even the parts that seem tangled and uncertain. That's where God does his best work. In the mess, in the middle, in the mystery. Watch how he turns broken pieces into beautiful mosaics. Watch how he uses your pain as the soil for your growth. Watch for the people he will send. The ones who'll speak a word at just the right time. Who'll show up with exactly what you didn't know you needed. God moves through people, through timing, through even your detours. And if you're too busy focusing on what hasn't happened, you'll miss the glory of what is happening right now. Watch your thoughts too, because the enemy will try to speak louder after you've prayed. He'll try to convince you nothing's changed, that you just wasted your breath, that God's forgotten you. But you must rebuke that lie like a warrior. You must stand tall and say, I may not see it yet, but my God is working. Say it until your fear trembles. Say it until your faith grows wings. Don't watch with fear. Watch with joy. Expectation is holy. It is faith dressed in anticipation. It is the belief that your waiting is not empty. It's pregnant with promise. It's the truth that even in silence, God is assembling your answer like a divine tapestry behind the veil. And when it comes, don't you dare forget this moment. Don't you dare forget the prayers you whispered through clenched teeth and tear-streaked cheeks. When the answer shows up, whether through healing, breakthrough, or simply peace where there once was chaos, remember to praise. Praise is how you honor the journey. Praise is how you water the next seed. Praise is how you say, God, I see you. I see what you've done. I'll never take it for granted. July 10 may just look like a date on a calendar to the world. But to you, it will be the day everything started to shift. You'll remember the prayers. You'll remember the stillness. You'll remember how you watched and waited and how God, how God showed up. Not because you were perfect. Not because you said every word just right. But because you were honest. Because you were hungry. Because you believed that the Creator of the stars could move heaven for you. And he did. So go on now. Watch like someone who knows the sky is about to break open. Watch with the joy of a harvest that's already on its way. Watch with the peace of one who knows her Father is faithful. You prayed the prayers. You sought his voice. You stood in power. You trusted the promise. Now, baby, watch him work.